man. You and me all day, every day. What?
For sure.
Bussin', bro. Man, what y'all got up in the fridge, dude? Oh, apple juice. You should get me on there, man, with a fit check. With the flat cap bill, rocking them Jordan 4s, right? With the Home Hero shirt. I've gone to shops where literally guys have pulled me aside and be like, man, I love all this stuff you're teaching, but if I do this, I'll be out till midnight. They're just gonna give me more calls. And it's heartbreaking. It's like, man, what's the real goal here? Like if I've got 12 tables in a restaurant and I can serve those 12 people and give them the best experience ever and I can be profitable, if I wanna make more money, I'm gonna add a 13th table. I'm not gonna add a 13th customer. Meaning I'm gonna increase my capacity. I'm not just gonna shove more people into my capacity. My room fits 56 people and I wanna sell more tickets to my event. I either have to increase the capacity or hold separate events. I can't put 115 people into a room of 57 people.
They want a tankless and a softener installed. They don't have either, and they've already been approved for financing.
What's that got to do? So you want me to go out there and do that call?
Well, they also say they've been having trouble with their sewer line and been wanting to replace it for a while, but they can't find somebody who they like to do it, but they think they trust us.
I don't want to have to work super hard to get it though. You want me to repipe the house, put it in a new tankless, softener. You say something about a sewer line?
That's what it looks like. I think we should go check it out, man.
No, bro, this is ridiculous. And is this commission?
Yeah, I already talked to the owner about it. He wants to actually double your commission on it because it's such a big job.
So you want me to go out there, you want me to run this call, it's a bunch of work and a bunch of money or whatever, but it's also a bunch of taxes, and you're gonna have people out there helping me, watch me, do what I do, and then you want me to get it done faster so I make even more money, and then I have to, take another call because now I'm done by Thursday or something?
What else are you gonna be doing instead here, Steve? This is the job, man.
You got any odor smells or anything like that on there? Like maybe like in a different, maybe just... Why does on-call suck? Well, look, here's the thing. Most companies that do on-call 24/7 after hours, they don't treat it the same way that they do during normal hours. They have a full staff and they have a full support system if someone calls between 8 and 5. But then after hours, they don't have a CSR, they don't have a supply staff, they don't have a lot of other things, and they want to go out and charge the same rates to the customer, if not even more, because they're doing after hours work. If you want to charge more and do on-call, then provide more service after hours. If you can't provide at least the same service that you provide during the day after hours, then you shouldn't do it. Think of it like an emergency room. Not every doctor is open after hours, but emergency rooms have a full staff after hours. Be an emergency room or be a doctor. But you gotta pick one and make sure that whatever you pick, you can service to the full. When there's no plumbers to hire, there's still a lot of plumbers that don't work for you working in your city. You're just not known enough. And so everybody tries to be just known enough because you don't want to overspend your marketing. And he goes, well, what do you do with all the money you spend on leads that you can't get to? And I'm like, well, what do you do with all the money you don't make when you're slow? See how this goes both ways? So I would rather spend a couple extra thousand every month and waste it and be known and have leads and momentum and be moving forward and I can hire into than to have that day, just one day when I'm slow. It'll be a couple grand in revenue off of one truck that we don't get.
It's that time again!
You've now entered the No Sales Zone. No Sales Zone. Where Chris Fresh, the plumbing sales coach, peels back the curtain of what sales really is. Buckle up, buckle up, buckle up, and get ready to learn how to increase ticket average by providing better service. And now, your host,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
CF, the plumbing sales coach.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Fresh Approach. I'm your host, CF, the plumbing sales coach, and tonight I have got a special treat. I've got a gift. I've got a guest. I've got everything you could ever want and more, and I cannot wait to get into this one because I'm big on vitals. I believe that every plumbing issue typically comes back to three things, three issues, three vitals, just like in doctor's office, just like when you go to the hospital, you got vitals, our body's got vitals, the home's got vitals, and these are the three. Age of plumbing, that's a big one. Things fail because they get old. Number two, water pressure. Water pressure is a big issue. For a lot of people, like in Houston, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but for the rest of the world, water pressure is a killer. And the third one, not to be less or more, but equally important to that, is water conditioning. And homeowners right now, man, they are hot on this topic. They understand that it's not just the sediment. They understand that things have been put into the water. Heck, they understand things have been put into the food. And they are very, very much aware of this. And they want to protect their families. They want to protect their home. And they want to protect their plumbing. And it's our job to educate them. It's our job to go into that home and understand when these solutions are necessary. And let me tell you, I see too many times where people say, well, I would never put that in my house. Well, it ain't your house. Or I would never spend money on that. Well, it ain't your wallet. It's theirs. And it's their choice. And your job is to educate. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Who's on here with me? Where do you plumb? Where are you from? Who's in the house? We got April Fresh, as always, my lovely wife, watching. She watches the show with us, guys. She cares. She cares. She cares about the industry. Lucas Cena, this guy was just a guest speaker, came up and spoke at my event here in Indianapolis, did some role play with the team. The guy's done over $1 million out of his truck 3 years in a row. And if you start to call him a salesman, smack yourself in the face for assuming, because this is a real deal journeyman plumber. He can do it all. He can sell it. He can communicate, and he can do it. He's not a salesman at all, actually. If you ever talk to the guy, you'll be the one doing most of the talking. You'll be the one doing most of the talking. What's up, Mary Spurlin White? Good to see you. Robert Avila, Logan William, Tamara Melton. Good to see all of you. It looks like Sitchy Plumbing is watching in. Good to see you guys. Raylene Miller, how do you do? Daniel, good to see you. Pat Curran. Is it Curran or Curran? Curran? I'm getting that wrong because I tried it like 3 different ways. I know I'm getting that wrong. What's up? Matt Werner in the house from Philadelphia. Matt, Lori Bayer. I think that's Matt Bayer from Remedy Plumbing. Good to see you. Good to see you. Chris Martin says, good to see you, brother. No, it's good to see you, brother. I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I got a special guest. I brought someone on that knows a little something about this third vital, and it's not who you might think. It's not going to be that typical wreck that comes in your shop and tries to tell you about it but doesn't know anything about it. What's up, Bob Kellogg, Wisconsin, across Wisconsin, on the border of Minnesota. Don Walls from Pittsburgh, PA. Don, dude, came to your state, beautiful place. Went to Harrisburg. You probably know about it. I went there. I spent the night there. This was 6 months ago, and I found out that was the capital. That 6 months ago, that night, I found out it was the capital. Not proud of that. I'm just telling you the truth. Tim, what's up? Meerkat Plumbing and Drain, LaPorte, Indiana. Oh, I know all about some LaPorte. LaPorte, good to see you. Irvin's in the house, says excited about this one. Shauna Dobbs, Texas, baby. See, she put Mr. Potty Plumbing, everything's all normal. You know, you uppercase the first letter. That's important. But then when you said Texas, baby, everything gets capitalized. Every time someone comes on here from Texas, it's like Texas deserves all caps. It's Daniel from One Tom Plumber in Des Moines. Oh, what's up, Daniel? We just met too at the event. Had a big event here in Indianapolis, over 100 plumbers and owners in the building. We got down, we role played, we did the thing. Great information. More importantly, the community information, getting all those plumbers in one spot. A lot of you guys were in our program for a while. Some of you have been not. And so it was nice to get that mix. So you can be like, is this guy full of crap? Who is this Chris Fresh guy? I am full of crap, but not with what we talk about on the internet. My kids would say I'm full of crap. Tim from Anytime Plumbing, what's up, brother? From New Mexico. Yeah, right. You're not calling you. I know where you're at right now. You're not even in the country, dude. You're on vacation. He said the third one was right. I don't remember which one I said. Curran, I think I said, maybe. Thurgood Plumbing in the house. Fresh Force, baby. Yeah, what is the Fresh Force? I'm wearing the shirt tonight. We're rocking it. I'm at Peach Plumbing in Atlanta. Fresh Force is anybody that is about serving other people. Anybody that believes service over sales, anybody that says, I'm always going to be serving. In fact, our motto, our tagline, our messaging, our trademarked tagline, by the way, is always be serving. And we said always be closing. We put a line through it because we wanted to take a little shot at the closers out there. Oh gosh, Shauna sent 100 stars in so she could really. Did you get that up on the screen, Texas? I mean, she really put tech. That was exactly, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It just shows how many stars she sent. Why doesn't it show her message? TEXAS, every letter separate. Just gets its own spot. Tom at Rescue One Plumbing from Pennsylvania. We got a lot of Pennsylvania in the house. PA's watching tonight. San Antonio in the house. Texas Standard, Roger the plumber in the house. What's up, Roger Lopez? Raylene says, just recently saw a shop in Texas that sells guns and chocolate. Most Texas thing ever. Yeah, Raylene, that's a true story. Ron says, what's up from South Florida? Local plumber, Fort Lauderdale. I made fun of Ron. I met Ron. Ron's cool as a fan. I shouldn't ever make fun of this guy. He's kind of one of those guys that if he punches you in the forehead, you're going to feel it when you wake up. And then it's going to leave some indents because the guy's got huge rings. But I was making fun of him. He's got this big pinky ring. I kind of wanted it, so I was jealous. So what do you do when you're jealous? You either feel bad or you make fun of him. I'm just a little tip. So I was feeling jealous, and I was like, bro, I swear, if you fall in the ocean here, you are never coming back up. Speaking of which, Jeff Lane hops on from he's up in Denver, Colorado. That dude's he's basically walking around with a brass knuckle with all the rings on his hands. Rescue One's watching. All right, look, tonight we're going to talk about water condition. This is a big deal. Okay, water condition is a big deal. We talk about sediment a lot. We talk about hardness, but it's not limited to that. And a lot of people ask me, Chris, you have to do a water test, whatever. Look, most of the time, what you're going to understand is that your city water is pretty consistent throughout your city. Learn that water, and you're going to have a kind of set solution for that. You start getting outside of the smaller cities, maybe a little less regulated wells for sure. You're going to have to start testing water potentially. I remember a company up in the Carolinas had this shop, and they had to sell a massive unit because the water gets a little bit different. But usually what I find is that iron is found in wells, and that will clog up your softener. So you have to have an iron remover before the softener. But if you really want to take this thing to another level, you can remove the sediment, you can remove the matter, but then what are you going to do to the water? Then what are we going to do? Can we condition it? Can we filter it? So we got someone that's going to come on here in just a second. Now, look, you guys know me. I'm shy. I don't like talking to a whole lot of people. I don't trust anyone on the internet. So when I get someone, I want to get someone. I want to make sure I get the right someone. You know what I mean? So I found this dude on the street selling softeners out of the back of his van. I'm just joking. No, we've got a special treat for you tonight, and I'm going to bring him on right now. And the topic we're talking about tonight is water condition, your water conditioning. This is Craig Dodd. This is the president of Brita PRO. Now, I know everyone's like, I've never heard of no Brita. Yeah, you have. And Brita is made by Clorox, $1 billion company. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Brita, Craig, but Brita is literally the old school pitcher we all remember in the fridge at our friend's house. We couldn't afford it. Our friends had it. And it was this pitcher that you could use to filter water, and people would get it and they would pour water. Is that the same filter we're thinking of?
That's
Craig frozen on us?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you were frozen for a second there.
Yeah.
No, you're all good. So we've got this pitcher, and I remember running my first call because there was a company that had just ordered some Brita PRO when I was at their shop, and I ran my first call, get an opportunity to even offer Brita PRO in the home. And usually when you get into softeners, it can be a tricky conversation. What brand? What model? What's the price? All these things. And I remember looking at the guy and I said, well, do you remember the old pitcher of Brita? And he was like, yeah, I think we used to have one. I said, well, it's like putting that on your whole house. Didn't have to say anything else. He had no questions. He was ready to rock and roll. So, Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you end up at Brita?
So Thanks, Chris. I've been in the industry for over 32 years. I've lived or worked in every state except Montana and Hawaii, but we just put another partner on in Montana, so I'm looking forward to do that. So, Chris, if you got anybody in Hawaii, that's my last exit there. So, for my bucket list. So everything I like I said, I know the water industry across all 50 states. Brita PRO is actually a solution-based company. And just like Chris said, it's, the Brita pitcher, like I was talking to Clorox, the pitcher is temporary, Brita PRO is permanent. So it's very easy to get in some households because Brita, they spend about 35, $40 million a year just advertising the brand. So if you go in there, just like Chris said, talk about the picture and everything, you lead into whole house. It's a very easy sale. So
It's
um,
one of Craig. I talk about this all the time. We got someone over on YouTube right now saying, "Is this pre-recorded?" I think you just got your answer. I think you just got your answer. It is not pre-recorded, and we've got a lot of people on here right now from Austin, Texas, from Mr. Potty from Katy, Texas, and I think they all understand what that picture is 100%. And I think that that's one of the big things in plumbing that we struggle with is because none of these products are marketed. You don't see any Navion commercials. You don't see any commercials for any of the other. I'm not going to mention the other softener brands. Bradford White, you don't see them, but you do for Brita. Brita's a household name. Brita is everywhere. And so you make such a good point. It makes it so much easier. Paula says better late than never. I know they move Brita. I know Martin Human says Brita mid plates sell like hotcakes.
there you go.
So true because the mid plate is a proprietary thing. It's one of my big pet peeves with mixed bed solutions is that these things they're not as good as they were after about 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. But the mid plate is a game changer. It's almost like it is like having two separate tanks, having your own resin tank, having your own um, um, carbon filter, and so it just really is a big deal when it comes to the quality of the product. Tell us a little bit about that. You said you've been in the industry for a long time. Tell us a little bit about why you chose Brita as to become president. I guess to become president, how'd you choose Brita?
So thanks, Chris. I've worked in multiple companies throughout my career. I've worked in a lot of branded companies, Culligan, Connecticut, uh, just different things, private equity, things like that. The reason why I chose Brita is because where we're located is in Hickory, North Carolina. It's a family-owned company, which I love. It brought me away from all the equity companies and the big companies, things like that. So if we have to make like decisions, I could pivot very quickly. Our ownership gives me 100% of the ability to change anything that I want out in the field. My father actually owned his own plumbing company back in the 80s. So I'm familiar with plumbing companies, but where my heart and passion is, Chris, and the rest of the group, is really just to get to understand your business. How can we apply Brita Pro to your, plumbers and things like that out in the field? A lot of people ask me about, oh my God, Brita's a big name and everything. How many units and everything do I have to sell? We're not worried about all that stuff. It's give us a try. Like I said, we are a solution-based company. I became president of this company 4 years ago. It was the same old softeners, different things like that. I shut the company pretty much down during the COVID, redesigned it. And Brita is not a softener company, it's a solution-based company. So just like Chris said, we have products anywhere from city mid plates to wells, different things like that. And we are just looking to partner with key individuals and help you build your business. So it's not about moving the units all the time. Okay. It's about understanding your business, understanding the direction you're going into. And it's not how you fit into Brita, it's how Brita fits into you.
Mm, I
Okay.
like that. Yeah, I really just want to point out a couple people here because it's funny that um, I just saw that. Sorry, Billy Parham. What? What? Y'all local? Billy Parham. That was the story I was telling a few minutes ago. I think before I brought you on, when I was talking about the guy out in the Carolinas that had this massive system that he had to get figured out. I see. I see. Rich Jolly says, "Is it a family company or is it owned by Clorox?" Also, he had made the comment of Halo, so I think I'm putting two and two together. Look, there's a lot of products out there, and I think if you saw the price tag on the Brita versus the Halo, you'd say, why am I doing Halo? It's considerably less. And the main thing that I love about Brita is they're expert. They're not just selling you something; they're experts at this. And yeah, I don't know what I can say on here, but I'm not a big fan of some of these other brands because they often position their product the wrong way or they position it as something it's not. Like, for example, there's no such thing as a saltless softener. It's an oxymoron. The two
Correct.
can't exist. But I see other people out there promoting, oh, I got this maintenance free softener, this saltless softener. And it's like, no, what you have is a water conditioning system. And that's fine, but sell it the way, communicate it the way that it's meant to be. Because there are totally different solutions to the different problems. In fact, that's what we're going to get into here in the beginning is the problems. I saw um, Billy says, yeah, we need to connect. Here's a quick little fun thing. If you guys want to connect, we just partnered with Brita. Oh, actually, Craig, we partnered about a year ago?
About a year ago.
We're
Yeah.
just finally making it public. And a lot of the companies in our program are already using Brita. They move a lot of Brita. But we partnered up and created a new line called Fresh Water powered by Brita Pro. This is made in the USA. This is done by Brita Pro. It's got our brand on it. And so if you guys want more information on this, I actually got it to where it's a little bit less than maybe what even you could get from their traditional line. And then the other thing that I think is important is that we worked out an arrangement and Brita does a 4% co-op back to you guys on the money that you're spending that you can use to advertise. So a lot of cool benefits there. Reach out to us. We handle the relationship. You can order directly through them. It doesn't matter to us. It's less work for us, but we like to facilitate that service side of things and track it. And also we're doing a rewards program for every dollar you spend, and we're doing free trainings and other kind of cool stuff. So if you guys want more information, Billy, if you want to connect right there, just email us. We'll get you locked and loaded. You'll deal with Mary on our end and then Tony on their end, and maybe more than just Tony, a few other people. I think you've added a few more people since we came around just to help us and facilitate our group. That's one thing that I've loved about Craig. There has been some things that have gone wrong, just like any relationship, but I can text Craig and within, an hour, I'm getting a text back. I got you. We're going to make it right. Don't even think about it. This isn't for you to be concerned with. And I love that. I love that because my thing is that if I'm going to bring them into your world, meaning if I'm going to bring Brita into the Fresh Force, that's who I care about. That's my main concern. That's my main worry. And so if I'm going to bring Brita into that, I want to make sure that you're going to get Fresh Force is going to get supported by them as if I was doing it. And Craig has proven time and time again that that's what they're about and that's what they'll do. Let's talk about the problems with Brita. And by the way, guys, I got a really cool gift I'm going to give you here in a few minutes. It's a what was that, Tyler? Okay, we'll put that up in a second. Actually, show the folks. I feel like I feel like a Hollywood person. I got so make that a little bit bigger. And this is the 3-stage filter, just so you can see how it looks. We want kind of like a sleek, nice premium look, or at least I think it's premium. I wanted to do blue and yellow. Not gonna lie, that was a little bit of desire for me, but Craig was like, "Hey man, let's go with something that looks a little more premium." And this is what they showed us. This is what they designed, and we loved it. Do you have anything else to show, Tyler? He says sell the fresh and soft water. Oh yeah, that's one of the units right there. That would probably be what the softener with the clack head looks like, as well as the 5-stage filter is going to look similar to that. They've got the unit where it's a mid plate combined for space savings and to give them dual. So many, it's like 1,000 products, right? What's the product line? It's crazy, right? UV light, got everything.
Yeah, we have over 300 products for us.
Yeah, I said 1,000 because I like to just, just in case. But if you buy 3 of each one, you'll have 1,000. Brita has water softeners. Yes, it does, Justin Michael. And so is this a softener and a filter? Rich, they have a lot of different lines. So we've got softeners, we've got filters, we've got softener and filter, we've got resin, then we've got carbon, then we got resin and carbon, iron tank removers, everything you can imagine. Um, yeah, Lucas said you're giving away a free water softener. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a tool that will help you with navigating the people in the home that you need to communicate this to, and you're going to love it. Rich says, show us. I want to see it. Fresh, clean, and safe water. Anytime Plumbing says, is this the same Brita that makes the filtration pictures? Sorry, just catching up. It sure is. In fact, when I'm in the home, that was Lewis that asked that question. I said earlier, when I'm in the home, when I sell them, I just go, look, you ever had that water pitcher by Brita? And they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I said, well, it's like putting one of those on your home. End of discussion. End of story. Still needs a brine. Yeah, it has that. It has everything. If it's a filter, if it's a softener, it's going to have the brine tank. We're just showing you just a quick photo on here, guys. Listen, I'm in the field with you guys. I go out on calls all the time. I've installed softeners. I sell them now. I promise you, it's exactly what you want it to be. It's the pro grade, made in the USA, clack head. Everything's premium components, premium parts. It's the thing. It's the real softener, the resin tank and a brine tank. It's the real 5-stage filter if you want that version. We were just throwing up a couple products, over 300 different products, he says. What is the website to see the products? Just email us. Email us at info@theplumbing sales coach, and we can facilitate everything for you. You can go through them as well. Either one's fine. But if you do the fresh water powered by Brita Pro, you'll be a part of our rewards program. And on top of that, you'll get a part of 4% co-op that gives you money back towards marketing and branding and all that kind of cool stuff. Got to have fresh water, Larry says. 100%. A lot of you are already installing these. You're in our program. You've known about this coming for a while. The new product line just dropped about a couple months ago, and we're finally making it public and getting everybody on boarded. Alex from Plumtastic Potty Doctor, it's been a while. What's up, bro? It has been, or I said bro. Sorry, that is a female. But what's up? Good to see you. It has been forever. Los Angeles in the house. Look, just reach out. We'll get you the information. I got a gift for you guys here coming up. All right, let's get into the problem. What's the problem? What's the problem we're facing with all of this, Craig? What's the homeowner up against right now in the world of water quality?
So it depends on what market you're in, Chris. I mean, you're looking at water softeners, different things like that. But Brita Pro is a solution-based company. So you're looking at like different areas that are dealing with lead. Now it's PFAS. That's highly in the market. I just got 2 articles from Ohio and Minnesota, how bad it is. Anywhere around a military base or an airport or something like that, from the foam and everything, the de-icing and stuff, they're dealing with a lot of PFAS. So we have solutions for all those things, guys and gals. Like I told Chris when we first got together, we're not here just to sell you something. It's about the partnership and how can we relate specifically to your geographical area. So in some respects, you might want to deal with a softener and a catalytic carbon filter or something like that. But we have solutions from whole house contaminants to point of use contaminants. We really looked at the line and different things like that. And really what we did is made it easy for install. I look at everything from from the install to how we produce stuff. And then from the manufacturer, how's it affect the field? And that's what I'm looking at. So just in Brita Pro alone, we track every year. I mean, our RGAs, our product complaints, our return to goods and everything, we're tracking at a 0.003% of everything we sell. So
I was actually gonna bring that up because Tim had a comment in here. And I want to dig more into the problem before we get too much more into the solution. But Tim said we love them, but they need to work on the way they're built. He's talking about the 3-stage filters. I know Tim had some issues with them early on, and you guys got them straightened out. But that was a batch that came in. One of the things I love about you guys is standing behind that stuff. But the the bigger thing I think I heard you say is that 0.003% issue rate. So you're going to have one once in a great while, but it is not very common for you guys. I mean, you're a big company,
Yeah,
produce
it's not
massive
very
worldwide
common,
Clorox, all
and
that.
on the 3-stage, Chris, just to hit it head on, look, we had some problems with it, like some caps leaking at the bottom of it. You're gonna start seeing some valves in the boxes to create, like, to handle that solution. So, again, every feedback we get, we look at it, we adjust, and we make solutions for it. So anybody on the call that's dealing with Brita products, just reach out to us, let us know what's going on. And we don't turn a deaf ear to things. If we see a solution or to make it better, that's what we're all about. Again, we're a solution-based company.
Yeah. So let's kind of get more into that problem really quick. So when I'm out in the field, I'm seeing things like, and I am all over the country. I'm going to Canada. I'm going to Georgia, for example. I'm going out west to California. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Anytime Plumbing in New Mexico. Probably been to, just in the last couple of years, I've probably been to like 20 or 30 shops. And the last 8 years, I can't even keep up. Oh, over 100 shops. It's been crazy. And I see the plumbing's very different everywhere. But one of the things I see pretty consistently is calcium buildup, limestone, those types of things. Those are matters in the water. Those are physical matters in the water. And so I see those things kicking up on things, clogging things, that kind of stuff, maybe causing something not to seal all the way, like a flapper, or causing a fill valve to get clogged up, or a cartridge to get hard to turn, or basically clog up so that it won't turn off or won't turn on all the way. And we see this stuff. We see it caking up on showers, shower heads, especially I make the joke all the time of picking the stuff out of the little rubber grommets in the shower head, your faucet spraying off to the side. We've got all kinds of things like that where you get that physical matter. You see it around the base of the sink, or you see it around the base of the faucet, or you see it on a shutoff. Oh my gosh, or a fitting. And I always tell the customers, like, man, this problem didn't start today. Like, this has been an ongoing thing. Think of like a time lapse of a storm coming in, and imagine that's what happened inside your part. Like, it started out with a little bit, and then it just kind of grew over time. And next thing you know, you were in a storm. How many of you have seen this in the homes? And this is the physical matter. How many of you have seen this in the home, and it destroys things? It's an irritant, it's an annoyance to the homeowner, but it destroys the plumbing. In fact, I always say that what the matter, the stuff we're talking about, and the solution for something like that is a water softener. Now, some matter has to be removed by different filters, like an iron tank or an iron remover, but that stuff destroys. And I always say, look, that's the type of stuff that is damaging the external parts of your body and your plumbing. The second problem I see out in the field, and Craig, correct me again if I'm wrong, but is the contaminants that you mentioned. These are the things that'll harm the inside of your body. Different things that are out there like lead and whatnot. And there's so many different bacteria and contaminants, but this is where water test kits come in, can help you understand your water. But again, if you're on city water, they're doing something to treat that water, and so that gives you some sort of a consistent bad water. Kind of a joke, but for real, a consistent bad water that you can work on. And then you get into these other things like UV lights, and you start getting into that kind of stuff, and you're treating the water differently, or RO systems where you're now stripping it down. And these problems that we deal with, whether it be the water that's causing problems to our plumbing or to our skin, or if it's something in the water that's causing problems inside of us, we can't drink it, consume it. I got 8 kids. I do not want them enduring this. Craig, what's one of the worst things you've seen in the trades with, or what are the worst horror stories you've heard?
Well, the worst horror story is misapplication, Chris. We talk
Mm.
about water softeners and different things like that. And water softeners are good, but you have to understand it's not removing all the contaminants. So again, geographically, like the people on your show right now, they're dealing with all different kind of contaminants. Municipalities deal with what they have to deal with. They make the water as best as they can. But even when you're looking at chlorine levels, like the EPA, you're only supposed to put 2 parts per million when it gets to the home. We've seen stuff at 10 parts per million, 15 parts per million. They're just juicing it up because that's what they need to do to make the water safe for the end consumer. Then you get into different contaminants and like different areas, like I was talking about, lead, PFAS, arsenic, just different things like that. So in a lot of
And
cases, yeah, a lot of cases we'll put the softeners on. We have specialty filters, even in that 3 stage. And I know anytime, we had some issues and everything, I just want to go back to that. But if you look at the filters and everything we have everything from reduction to total removal. Okay. So it really just depends on what the customer wants, what they're actually looking for in the water category. I mean, a softener is going to handle everything that's destroying plumbing and things like that. When you get into contaminants, every market is different. So especially wells, you got to have a well test kit. You have to send that off, get the test kit. We will help you, okay, build the equipment that needs to go into that. All right. So you don't have to second guess yourself. Just let us help you. Okay. So that's the big thing. Contaminants, the softeners and everything is good. The contaminants are moving up. Like I said, those 2 articles that just came out, if you're in Ohio and Minnesota right now, uh, give us a call. We'll help you like apply those applications and actually remove the contaminants that are in that municipality or well.
yeah, so a couple of comments. Let's get to the comments really quick. You said the cities are doing what they can. David White said cities do the minimum to get by. Although I will say, David, your state does the minimum to get by. David's in Mississippi. You know I love you, dog. You know I
Yeah,
was going to
yeah.
say it.
Where's he at in
Also,
Mississippi?
Tupelo. No one's ever heard of it.
Know that well.
Um,
I know that area
I
well.
just, he's laughing right now. I just want to make that man laugh. He's such a nice dude. He's a
I'm
great
originally
guy.
from New Orleans, so I know all that area well.
Jason Johnson says, send me some info. I'm game, Jason. Jason, email us. Tyler, throw it back up there. Email us at info at the Plumbing Sales Coach, and we'll get you the information for the freshwater powered by Brita PRO. Danny Russ says the biggest problem is what the customer wants and what the water needs. 90% of these plumbers don't test water. They just sell softeners or city soft systems without knowing what they need to treat. That happens a lot. Sold. I'll contact you tomorrow. Tired of dealing with a certain brand. Tony says, call me tomorrow. Tony, I'm going to have them email info. Tony works for Brita, but I'd rather have them email because we want to track this so they can be a part of our rewards program. We're doing something different for all the people that are buying this stuff. And the pricing's obviously the same. You can go straight through Brita. You just might not get the rewards. That's all. That's the only thing you'll miss out on. And then what'd you say, Tyler? Oh, yeah. Anytime, call Tony. So that's the other thing too. We will support you, but Tony's kind of one of the geniuses in the planet with all the products. I see he's telling that to him at any time. Yeah, definitely get a hold of him, Tim. Let's see. Crispy wilding out about us Mississippi folk. No, not you, Cole and Lexi. Just David. Just David. My wife's from Mississippi. So I feel like I have a pass. I lived there for a couple years. I don't know. I'll say anything. But I did live there for a couple years. I'm a Mississippian too. The Navy, when I was in the Navy, when I was in the Navy, our ship was built in Mississippi. Mississippi's got a special place in my heart. Ryan Eakin says, I was literally about to say that if you ain't testing, you're guessing. Need to know what you're treating before throwing a softener at it. Someone said, oh, we already read that one. Yeah. And then Tony says it's the things you can't see in your water that are the most concerning. Yeah. Amen. All right. So we kind of hit on the solution already. And I just want to point a couple things out to you guys out there. Everyone that says test is 100% right. But there are a couple of core, like there's categories to this stuff. You've got water softeners. Those take salt. That requires an ion exchange when you're removing that matter from the water. And if you don't, there's no other way to do that. Now, there is some studies out there, people using potassium over the salt. I don't know a lot about that, to be honest. I haven't really used it. I know it's out there. I've always been a salt guy. I use solar salt. I've got a softener system at my house, but I've got a resin tank with a brine tank, which is your softener combo setup, and then I've got a carbon filtration setup as well. So the water goes through that, then comes back through and goes through the resin. And this is a way for me to protect not only my skin and my plumbing, but now the inside of our bodies, right? If we consume this stuff, and then we have an RO that feeds the ice maker. And I did hear somebody on the internet say that ROs RO water weakens your bones. I've never heard that. That's an interesting one to me. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of information out there, and it can get very confusing. Sometimes there's the right information applied the wrong thing. You talked about that. That's one of the big mistakes is the misapplication of the product. And then there's other times where we just don't know what we're talking about. We're selling this to solve that. And I see that mistake made a lot. And so, product education will go a long way. Justin says, easy way to upsell the call into a new softener. We're actually going to end the show with that now. How I run the call, how I bring up water condition, how I deal with it in the home. I couldn't tell you what's in my house, but my water is nice now. Raylene, I love you. That's funny. I love that. Other than testing the water, is there? Oh, yeah, upsell the call. Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest, man. When I test water, it's solely so that I can be technical. I don't usually get the customer interested in the product with a water test. I use the water test to install the right product and to also set the right product up to get the hardness right or whatever I got to do. Galvanized pipes should be outlawed. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, we already read that one. All I know is my RO makes water taste good. Chris was 6'4" before dude, Martin, why you gotta say that, bro? Why you gotta do that? Chris, I was 6'4" before the RO water. Yeah, bro. I'm 5'6" now. Be careful. Don't drink RO. Yeah, there's what Tim's talking about, this website that has all this information on it that shows the quality of the water in your area, your local area. You can see the hardness count. You can see all this stuff. There's so many resources. This is Brita, man. They got everything. So we talked about the problem. We talked about the solution. Solutions are really important too, because you're going to get customers that are buying bottled water. You might even see the bottled water in the house, and they can get an RO and self-source. Billy said that was hilarious. Look, I don't think it was that funny, really. And Martin Human, that's a weird last name, Human. You're not being a human right now. You're being mean. I know you, Martin. I know Martin. I ran calls with Martin. Just spit my drink out. Okay. This is borderline bullying at this point. This is what I deal with, Craig. Who's seen the comments on the internet that when I post stuff, we'll put stuff out. We get a little. You guys know I'm all about service, always about serving. If you're in the program, you've met me personally, you ran a call with me, I am all about customer service. I really am. Just really good with questions. Really, really curious guy inside the home. And I get killed, man. People are like, you're not a plumber. You never plumb. You've never been. You're an office boy. And I'm like, no, I'm a podcast boy. He's big mad you're talking about. Look, dude, I feel like the word big was he's big mad. Dude, come on, bro. This hurts. This hurts. But look, I'm gonna get big. I'm gonna grow up one day, dude, and I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna get bigger. We man fresh. Me and Mike are the same height. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. We're like the same height, dog. But you spike your hair up higher than me, so you got me by a couple inches. I know most of the people on here. Justin Duncan, what's up? A lot of plumbers on here I've plumbed with, ran calls with, coached. Okay, look. I want to get into this last part of the session. Go ahead and flash it up on the screen for him. Point number 3. And I think right now you didn't flash it up there for very long. I think right now what we need to dive into is the delivery in the home. How do we communicate these things? We're going to let you go here in a couple seconds, Craig, and then I'm going to give everyone a gift. In fact, I'm going to give you the gift right now. Fresh be selling 10 feet tall all day. That's how I be on the camera. I've lost you guys. This is straight up bully session now, right? I think you have topped out at 5'6 3/4, David. I'm surprised you guys even can take measurements from Mississippi. I wear platform Jordans. I'm just gonna read the comments. What's up, Aqua Flush in the house? I'm just gonna read the comments. I'm just gonna read the comments of me getting roasted live on the internet. I've dreamed my whole life of getting to this point. All right, the delivery. I'm going to give you guys a tool. Okay, you're gonna have to put a comment in the chat. You're gonna get an instant message. It's gonna ask for your email address, and then we're gonna send it to you. Okay, type Vibe VIBE into the chat or into the comments. Now this won't work on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. This will not work on YouTube. This will only work on Facebook. If you're on YouTube and you want the bot, just email us at info@theplumbingsalescoach and say, can I get the Vibe assessment bot? But this bot is a chat bot that we built that's going to allow you to mess with, and we're developing it more and more, but it's going to allow you to do it. And I would say, if it doesn't give you some prompts, just type, I want to do an assessment. And it's going to walk through and ask you 8 questions. You're going to answer those questions with numbers, and it's going to spit out and tell you what your personality type is. And if you go a little bit further, 32 questions, it'll tell you a little bit more about yourself. For those chat GBTers out there, because that's where the bot's at, if you guys are on their pro account, it'll let you go all the way to 128 questions. If you're not on their pro account, I think you just got to wait a day because you got minimum usage on there and you can go 128 days. It has nothing to do with us. That's just chat GBT stuff. But we put this bot on there, and here's what you're going to use it for. You're going to learn yourself. And you're going to find out, once you learn yourself, you can ask it things like, what are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? Tell me a little bit more about myself. And then you can do this. There's 4 personality types. You can say, how can I get good at communicating softeners to a V personality type? How can I get good at communicating softeners to an I personality type? And this chat bot is going to totally walk you through literally how to communicate more effectively to different personality types. In fact, you can even type in the chat bot, how do I recognize that personality type? How do I learn that personality type? There's a really quick way. If you ask the homeowner questions, their responses, the nature of their responses are going to tell you. If they're short and quick and not full with information, you can tell right away it's a V. And so you can learn all this stuff with this chatbot. You're going to learn so much with this chatbot. I'm an EVIB. Yo, I feel like that's a rap song. I'm an EVIB. Nobody knows me. I don't know. All right. And so take the thing, type Vibe. We're going to send you that message, and then you'll get one in your email. Wait, aren't you a B? Never would have guessed. Who said they're a B? Larry's not a B. Who said that? Shocked I was a B. You ain't no B, bro. Or you're an undercover V, or you're hiding. You're trying to, you wish you were a B. I think that's what it was. Somebody typed Vibe, and Mary responded with, I just sent you a text. Not sure what that was. Yeah, type Vibe in the comments, and we'll get you this chat bot. If you don't get the chat bot or whatever, somehow the little mechanism breaks, the fancy bot that we use to give you the bot, if that thing fails on you, just email us at info@theplumbingsalescoach. David says Vibe is a game changer if you want to learn yourself and your customers. Totally is. I've released this to these are things that I've had for a while. I'm just releasing to the public now. Want to get it out there. Want to help you guys. Let them cook. Vibe's big deal, man. Knowing who you're talking to is equally important to understanding what you're going to say, because the way you deliver something and the way you say something to someone is going to have a different effect on different kinds of people. So the delivery, Craig, what would you say to a technician who's like, I want to represent Brita. I want to go in the home. I want to communicate it well. What are a couple things they can tell their customers to let them know that they're getting a good product?
Well, Chris, it's, again, we have everything possible like someone would want. So we have like sales scripts, how to talk to customers, different things like that. That's all part of this Fresh program. We look at, the equipment you buy from us, things like that. We don't charge like these different fees and everything other OEMs have. If you got an issue, you need to understand what's going on. We have a team set up. Just let us know what's going on, and then we have a solution for it. So from tech sheets, from mailers, from in-home consultations, just all those different things. We have it all. So it's really just reach out to Chris at the Plumbing Sales Coach. We will talk to you guys individually because again, every market is different. Okay, every market is different. So we just need to understand what's happening in your market. You're selling the right price. Again, we're not here just to sell you something. It's a whole partnership. Like I told Chris when him and I developed this relationship. It took over a year, okay, for him to trust me to trust him. But all the philosophies and everything that he's teaching you guys, things like that, that's what makes it a good partnership, because we are aligned in what he's teaching everyone and how we go to market. So just reach out to us and we will develop a certain program for each individual market. Because
I'm hearing.
Tupelo, yeah, so Tupelo, I'm going back to Tupelo. Tupelo is different than Florida, different than Michigan, and things like that. But just let us do an assessment for you real quick and tell you what we think. Okay, all you guys are independent and things like that. So we'll give you a recommendation and the reasons why, and hopefully we can develop some good partnerships. Like we developed a lot of good partnerships with the fresh people so far.
Love it. And David, just if you're watching from Tupelo, people drinking out of garden hoses, you're not going to be able to do much for them. All right, I'm kidding. Craig, thank you so much for coming on, spending your time with us this evening. I know you're super busy, traveling a lot, nonstop. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
All right, look, guys, we're going to dive into a little bit more on how to run this call, like actually how to run this call. I'm going to walk through a scenario role play with you guys really quick on how I run the call, how I identify water condition issues, and how I bring them up in the home. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a big fan of show them, don't tell them. I don't like I don't want to turn into a scientist. I don't want to turn into anything I'm not normally in my everyday life to try to go in there and convince someone to get a softener. That's not what I'm about. That's not how I roll. Larry says, thanks for the vibe testing using it with new hires. Genius. You can plug in there to have them take one, figure out what their vibe test is, your whole team. And then you can tell the vibe test, hey, I'm a V, but they're a B. What pitfalls will we have? What blind spots will we have working together? I've got this position I want to fill. What is the best personality type for that? You can then have new people that are applying for the job take the assessment and figure out if they're going to be a good fit before you go through all the shenanigans. He says hose water is the best water. I love it. That's how superhumans are made. You must be talking about me. I'm just joking. Me just one trunk won't grow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, it's a big deal. So we're going to talk about this. I think, what I heard him say there at the end, delivery is solution. They have solutions. They have, they can support. That's what I meant to say, not solutions, this support. That's one thing that you'll have with them if you're in the home is say, look, this thing is just like the old picture on the old Brita picture where you just put it in your house. And the thing I love about them is if we ever have a problem, if we ever have a need, they're there. They're there in a jiffy. They're right there to help us out. I love that. It's what it's all about. Anytime I bring someone to you, you guys' comments are killing me. Ryan, dude, I don't know. Oh, man. Look, I want you guys to get supported. I want you to have premium products at your hands. I want to change the industry. I don't want the industry to have this negative image of salesmen, and I don't want the industry to have this negative image of just commodity, just butt crack plumber, broke fix plumber, just goes in, waves his wand, fixes the little thing, $350 and leaves, and no one got any value. I want you to understand and be able to communicate the value of solution we bring as an industry. I love HVAC too. I'm starting to get to learn HVAC and all that they do. But a lot of times HVAC is convenience. It's a comfort issue. But plumbing can be a health issue. And I know HVAC can be too, but plumbing is typically a health problem. You let water sit on something or run on something for too long, it can kill you over time. If you don't treat the water that's coming into your home, it can destroy your house. It can cause damage. It can cause flooding. One of the things we love about our program is we're constantly focused on service and understanding the customer situation. But I was talking to everybody at the event and I was like, man, it dawns on me when I first fell in love with this industry. The reason why was because there's so much reality to the effect we're having on people or the lack of effect we're having on people. Here's what I mean. Stress is the number one cause of inflammation in your body. I'm not a doctor. You can look that up, but stress causes inflammation. Inflammation is like the leading cause of most diseases. Like 70% of diseases are caused by inflammation. So stress causes inflammation. Inflammation leads to disease. Think about this. And we go into a home, and what's the number one stressor? Money. We go into a home, and if we don't communicate well, if we don't educate well, they don't understand what they're spending money on, that creates extra stress, unnecessary stress, exasperated stress. We go into the home, they're already stressed because their ceiling's leaking, their light bulb is crying, whatever's going on. Water's coming from a place they didn't expect, or it's in a place they didn't expect, or it won't shut off, or their water bill's real high. They got a weird smell in their house. All these things stress them out. And then we come in there and we're like, oh, you need a tankless, or you need this, or we try to oversell them, or not us, not you, not anyone watching, but those folks. And I get accused of that guy being that guy all the time. And it's funny to me. And it's like, man, if you don't even know who I am, but I'll take it. I'll take it. It comes with the territory. But I'm telling you right now, we can make an impact on that. We can reduce that stress. Go in there, build a relationship. Let them know someone actually cares about them. Go in there and impact them in a positive way, and then educate them on what else they didn't know. So there is no more surprises down the road. And then let them choose how they want to invest their money. And honor the fact that they're willing to spend a little bit more. Maybe they get a little bit of a price break, in the sense that, they don't have to pay for every shutoff at full price. Like, we can do something for them. Heck, if you're there for a leaking shutoff that's causing damage, and you see water condition issues, and you offer up a softener and they take it, maybe you just swap the shutoff out at no charge. And you can be a positive impact on somebody. You can actually reduce the stress and reduce the inflammation, reduce the disease. How many of you are with me on this? Type an amen or a health in the comments. Let me know. Let me know if you're on. Am I talking? You my people? You my people? Am I talking to the right people? Okay, I'm gonna get into how we run this call. Okay, how I run this call. Now, when I come into a home, the first thing I want to do is remember always, this is not my home. Okay, I'm the expert, but I'm in your home. I'm the expert, but I'm in your home. And when I'm in that situation, I want to be mindful that everyone's got a different culture, different background, different experiences, and I don't know which one yours is. So I'm gonna be respectful of that. Yeah, I got a lot of agreement on here. A lot of agreement on here. Run it back again, he said. Yeah, it probably made you feel a certain kind of way, because it's true. It's who we are. It's what we do. We're not a commodity. So when I run that call and I go in that home, I'm in their home. So the first thing I want to do is I want to knock on the front door. I don't like to ring doorbells. I don't like to ring doorbells. If I have to, I will, but I've gotten away with just knocking on doors for quite a long time. If it's one of those metal doors or something, I'll knock on the wood frame. They'll come up to the door. They'll be like, dude, you're taller than I thought. They won't say that. But I'm usually step back. I'm going to let that door swing open so that it doesn't hit me. And if there is no door, it's an imaginary door that could swing open so it doesn't hit me. And if they got steps, I'm going to step down a step, because I'm super tall and I got to take it down a notch. But y'all want to clown me earlier about being short. But I step back off the step. And I say, hey, I'm Chris. I'm Chris with Peach Plumbing. Do you mind if I come in? Or I might say, I'm Chris with Peach Plumbing. I heard you're having trouble with your water heater. I heard you're having trouble with your faucet. I heard your tub's giving you some issues. I heard your toilet's not working right. Something to let them know, like, hey, the office and I, we talked. You don't got to explain your story again. They told me what was going on. I'm here to fix it. Not only that, I'll throw this little doozy at the front door. Do you mind if I come in? And as I'm stepping in, I'm putting on my shoe covers, I'll say something to the effect of, usually at this moment, I'm either saying something in relationship to building a relationship. I've identified, connected, and engaged them on something that I have in common. Maybe I saw something out in the yard or something. But if not, I might say, man, really sorry to hear about your water here. Unfortunately, I see this all the time. That's considerate, that's empathetic, and it says I'm an expert. I'm sorry to hear about your toilet. Unfortunately, I see this a lot. Do you mind showing me where it's at? We get going. If it's a chatty Cathy at the front door, I might say something like, hey, someone that talks a lot might say something like, hey, as we're walking to it, I might say, so what happened? If it's someone who's like, this way, I'll just quietly walk right behind them. I get to the toilet. Let's call it a running toilet. I say, oh, no, what's going on here? How old is your toilet? And then they go, it's 8 years old. And I go, oh, okay. And I take the lid off and I'm like, oh, it's from 1986. It's not 8 years old. Rescue says, I got you, Chris. He says, don't say how you doing, like Joey from Friends. How you doing? I'm 5'4". I love you already. Let's get this man a hat. Could be a female, but just in case, either way, let's get them a hat. Flat bill or curved. Rescue One, what is your name? So we can get you something. DM us your address and we'll get you a hat. Tom, he's definitely a guy. All right. Oh, it's Tom Essick. Okay, I know who that is. Yeah, get him a hat. 5'4" is great for crawl spaces. Depends on how round you are. Depends on how round you are. So I walk in, I look at the toilet. I say, hey, how long has this been going on? You know, what's been your experience? I'm going to run through a series of questions like, how old is it? Any other issues with it? How long have you lived here? Do you have any other toilets in the house? Are they the same kind? Are they the same age? Have you had any problems with those? Okay. Have you ever tried to shut water off to this? Look down at the shut off. I pull the lid on the tank to see the age, but I probably see some buildup in there. Let's say I'm in a market that has hard water. I see some buildup in there. I look down at the shut off. I see some buildup on it. I go, oh, have you ever used your shut off? And they said, no. I said, well, that's a gate valve, a multi-turn, and it's got some buildup on it. And sometimes those can leak or cause issues. I'd rather not cause an issue right now. Can you show me where your main is? So I'm using the reason I'm there to show me where the main is. I go to look at the main. The main's probably beautiful. No, it's probably a gate valve. It's probably got corrosion on it. I'm probably seeing 90s and fittings everywhere with corrosion on it. So I'm saying, hey, yeah, so this is the same kind of stuff that's getting in your toilet. What's happening is that corrosion that you see right here, it's getting on all your fittings. It doesn't happen overnight. It's actually a long-term growth, and that's what's happening in your toilet. So that flapper's not sealing, or that fill valve's not opening all the way, or it's not shutting, or whatever's going on. And I kind of explain all that to him. And I go, no big deal. That was probably the fourth or fifth piece of evidence I've shown him of the hard water. And I might go, let me ask you a question. Do you ever get like foggy dishes, or does your shower head ever get like clogged up, or you ever get like that white streak on your fridge? And then they'll probably say, I do, one of those or all of those. I say, okay. And they say, what is that? And I said, well, it's this hard water. I was like, you got to get vinegar and something like that to clean it. It gets real bad. It's like these shutoffs, it turns to cement over time, just sitting there. Because you probably haven't used these in a while. I'm like, yeah, I've never used them. Like, yeah, they sit for years and they get that buildup on them. And it's not the buildup on them that's actually causing the problem. It's the buildup in them. The buildup on them is what made it out of the system. It's the leftover residue. And then they're usually like light bulbs are going off. And I'm like, I'm surprised you guys haven't had any like showers drip or anything. Well, we've had a shower drip before. Like, oh, that's plumbing too. Earlier when I asked you if you ever had any problems, you said no. How many of you have dealt with that? You have any problems? No. You have any problems? No. You have any problems? No. You have any problems? Actually, now that I think about it, I have any problems? No. No other problems. You're halfway through the toilet rebuild. Hey, you know what? Do you guys work on faucets? They just forget. They forget. They got life going on. This came out of nowhere. You came into their house. You had a plan when you came in their house. They had a plan when you came in their house, and everybody's off. And we forget stuff. So I asked 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 different ways. And I'll say, okay, so then they might say something like this, like, what do people do about that? Well, a lot of people clean it. Some people don't like doing that. So they're the solutions can get real expensive. So some people will go down and get like a little single stage canister. Our water hardness around here is usually in the 20s, like in Indianapolis, where I did most of my earlier days, water hardness was 24 to 35 in the city. It was bad, real bad. That's parts per gallon. And so, anything over 3 is hard. Anything over 7 is extremely hard, extremely hard. And so you get 30, 24, 30, it's causing problems. And it says ours is around 20 something. So like if you were to have a single, you'd probably have to change that filter every couple weeks, 3 weeks. And some people will put a softener in, but those are really expensive. That's where you put the salt. That's the only way to truly solve this. And then they go, well, how much are those expensive? And I'm like, yeah, they're real expensive. They're real expensive. I'm not like, no, they're extremely affordable. Barely any money at all. Yes, if you educate the customer and show them, bam, it sells itself. Absolutely. Text get into telling customers when we educate, they see it and sell themselves. Yeah. Well, if we get into this idea of like talking about the softener and like, oh, it's got a molecular change and it does the salt exchange ion and it's like it's a flux capacitor at 80 miles an hour, you shift back in time, you travel back to the future. Like no one knows what the heck. You don't got to do all that. Wipe the rubber on the tank bolt and show them the black fingers after. Easy visual for customers. I love that, Justin. Water tests are less important than you think. Visual buildup sells itself. Yeah, like I said, I use the water test kit to get the right product and to set it up correctly. I don't use it to sell the softeners. Jake says it's an investment. Never sell anything using the word expensive. Shoot, Jake. I was with Tim on Anytime Plumbing. I went to his shop. I probably averaged $2,800 a call, just for what it's worth. You can believe me or not believe me, but there's tons of evidence on this little thing right here. In the chat comments, I've ran calls with all these guys. I was averaging right around $2,800 a call on this shop visit down in Santa Fe. I can't tell you how many times I told customers that things were expensive. This one lady was like, "That sounds expensive," and I was like, "We weren't even talking about softeners, we were talking about all their valves." I was like, "It is very expensive." I'm not a salesman. I'm not going to tell you guys to do what all the sales trainers do. We're not going to get them to say yes 3 times. I'm not going to stay away from certain words. I'm me. This is how I go to a fine dining steakhouse. This is how I sit in first class. This is how I roll. When I'm in the home, I'm me. I'm in their home, so I'm respectful of that, but I'm me. I don't have clever, fancy words. I'd be tripping all over my own brain trying to figure out the right words. Yeah, Tim says, yeah, 100, bro. Tim's got 40-something employees, 20, 30 trucks on the road. Kills it. But I went to their shop, I had a good time, mixed it up with the guys. They just had a couple guys at our last training event. I promise, bro, there's none of this stuff. I usually don't even respond to those comments, but I feel like I haven't seen your name before. You're new to the show. I just want to tell you what I'm about. That's what I'm about. Heck yeah, I'll tell someone it's expensive. I am who I am. Maybe I should have ate some more spinach, bro. I could have been taller. I'm gonna tell y'all though, right now, in kindergarten, I was 5'6", used to beat fools up every day, take their lunch money. Then they caught up to me in 3rd grade. Different things work for different people. I just know it didn't work for me. No, that's fair. You be you. I'm averaging about 3,200 a call this month. My bad. My bad. My bad. Never mind. Killing it. Killing it. Says live training was awesome. Look, get that bot. Get that vibe. Type in vibe in the comments. VIBE. We'll send you a message. We'll send you this chat bot. You can get it. It's on ChatGPT, but you click this. It's something I programmed personally. Most stuff, a lot of stuff I'm not doing anymore. I've got an awesome team. They do everything. But I did personally program this thing. It only took me 7 months. It took me a lot. It took me a while. It took me a while. But we got it all programmed, and you guys can go in there and do it. There's some tweaks and things I got to do to it, but it's flowing. It'll tell you everything you didn't know about yourself. It'll tell you everything you didn't know about your spouse. You can use it with your spouse to maybe better the marriage, to understand each other and the differences. And maybe it's not annoyances. Maybe you're just designed differently. It'll work in the home. It'll work with customers, work with your crew, with your team. If you're struggling with a boss and you can't understand how to communicate with them, you can plug their personality profile in, your personality profile, and it'll tell you how to be better. It works when we listen and follow the process. I'm proof the process works if we actually follow it and listen. Yeah, man. The process works. It's all about service. It's all about taking care of the customer. It's all about putting your best foot forward to be a good human, to be an educated human, because you got to educate them. And then we need to find a way to communicate in their language. Like they don't understand, and nor should they understand. When I tell someone how a fill valve works, I talk about a light switch. I said, well, it's kind of like a light switch. You got power going to that light all the time, but when I turn this light off, it just stops the power and holds it right there. but it doesn't just stop receiving. The power is going right to this light switch all the time. When I turn the light switch on, it completes the circuit. Your fill valve works the same way. There's water going to that fill valve all the time. It's just holding it back until you turn the light switch on, and then it lets water into the tank. Except for your light switch on a toilet is the toilet handle. And the toilet kind of works like a timer on the light where it just shuts off after a certain period of time. You've got to get good at these analogies. A tank water heater, that's gas. It's like the old gas stove with a boiling pot of water. The only difference is the whole thing's sealed together. If I'm talking about an electric water heater, I might say, the electric stove with the elements. If you get a real old person that smokes, you're like, you used to light your cigarettes on these? But the elements in the oven, you turn it on, they get real hot and red. You got something like that in your water heater. It's just shaped a little different. They don't need to become a plumber. You don't got to explain it to them so they can be a plumber. They're not going to go sell softeners. You don't need to explain it to them so they can sell softeners. They're not going to go engineer and manufacture one, so you don't got to teach them like that. They need to know what the benefit is, not the feature. They need to know not how it works, but what it does. I did a water softener class one time. I had a bunch of people come into town. We did water heaters, water softeners, and it was a class. And I said, okay, class, basically how I'm going to know that is if you can teach me in an analogy. So they all got together and created this analogy. This is how they said water softeners work. I do not recommend doing this in a home. I don't recommend telling a mom this for sure. But this is how they told me. They said, well, your water system is the nightclub. It's the nightclub, man. There's a lot of partying going on in there. And the resin, well, those are the bouncers. And then they said the sediment were the underage drinkers trying to get into the nightclub. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But you can't use that in a home. You cannot use that in a home. Okay, look, let's just kind of finalize this thing. I go into the home and I mention these things, so they finally go, whatever. Okay, I'll tell you what. You got enough going on with this toilet. Let me do this. I'm going to give you an option for your toilet just to get rebuilt. We talked about replacing it, but you may not want to do that. But if you do, I think I'm just going to help you out with that shutoff. So if you end up with a new toilet, I'm going to throw in a shutoff. And then I'm going to put a third option together for a softener. I go, I don't know if I really want one right now. So I'll tell you what, no problem. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you the model and brand, and then what you can, and the price. And then what you can do is you can go do research. You can check it out. You can price shop it. You can do whatever you need to do. And if you ever decide to get one, just let us know and we can come out here. Usually our prices don't change too much, but if you wait a long time, you just call us and we can update the quote or whatever you need. Now, I'll say that 10, 15 minutes into the call. But when I go to do my stack at the end of the call, when I go to do my options, I usually make that third option an irresistible offer. Look up Irresistible Offer on the internet by Russell Brunson. I make that thing an irresistible offer. And then what I do is I go, look, this irresistible offer has a softener in it. And it has a couple other things in it. Maybe it's time to swap out all 3 toilets. Maybe we can hook you up with some more shutoffs. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the home. Every home's a little different. I was just in a home the other day on a slab leak. Did the slab leak, and slab leak was the first option. Second option was a slab leak with 3 shutoffs and an expansion tank. Actually, no, it was a slab leak with an expansion tank that I found that failed. And then it was shutoff, expansion, water heater, some other stuff, whatever. But the water heater was only 9 years old, and I told the customer, look, you don't need the water heater right now. It's working fine. The only reason why you would swap the water heater out now is just to reset the clock. You probably got another 3 years on it. If you don't want to take the risk on the last 3 years, here's how you get out of that. You don't need one. And then I made that a good deal in option 3. I made that a good reason to say yes. And that's all you got to get good at. Build relationship, diagnose in a way that's educational to customer, analogies and all the stuff we said, and then value stack. Create 3 intelligent options that give them a reason to invest more. It's that simple. You don't have to sell nothing. You don't have to get people to say yes 3 times. You don't have to avoid words. You don't have to say slick things. You don't have to get really good at overcoming objections. You don't have to get really good at closing statements. Now, I do believe in overcoming objections, but I just do that with more questions to see where I missed the mark. Anytime someone says no, they had an expectation and you landed outside of it. That's all. Your job was to expand the expectation on that call. But you didn't for whatever reason. So now you got to figure out where they went wrong. So instead of guessing, cutting your price and doing all this crazy stuff, ask questions, find out what's going on, find out what's keeping them from being able to do that. And the more you understand about their situation, the more you can speak into it. But you can't speak into it if you're just shooting blind. It's all about service. It's all about giving people an experience. Look, I don't think everyone should spend a bunch of money on plumbing, but I think everyone has a lot of problems in their home they don't know about. And I think it's my job to go in there and make sure they at least know about them. And then they can make whatever decision they want. My first option is always only what they called me out there for. I never make them buy more, but I offer them more. And you can't sell nothing if you don't offer nothing. So I'm telling you right now, build a relationship, diagnose, value stack, and watch your numbers go through the roof. And more importantly, watch your customer satisfaction go through the roof. I love you guys. Remember to type vibe into the comments to make sure you get that free vibe tool, that free vibe assessment that you can use with your friends and everyone else. You can share it with them. And then last but not least, email us if you want more information about Brita PRO, fresh water powered by Brita PRO, and we will get you connected. I love you guys. And as always, remember, serve your community and everything, not just plumbing. Have a great night. If you want more tips about marketing, sales, and business, type subscribe in the comments and get alerts about future shows. Also, check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other major platforms. Thanks again for watching The Fresh Approach.
Fresh.